Crap with Beth and Matt. Cut to Crap is the world's #1 no bullshit health and fitness podcast. Hey friends, I just want to let you know that your mental health matters. And this week, Beth and I are joined by Ryan Kassim. Ryan is an online health and wellness coach and mental health advocate. We discuss changing the way you talk to yourself, and hint, you need to drop the word only from your vocabulary. We also discuss valuing our mental health just as much as our physical health, and we learn some interesting facts about Ryan and myself. Now let's get into it.
Ryan Kassim.
All right, now I'm good.
Ryan, what's up, man?
That was a tough start for me. What's up, guys? Wow, look at. All right, let's point a couple things out first. Let's point out Beth's tan.
I know. I'm jealous of it, man. It's not fair. It's not fair.
And let's
ready to go.
And let's point out Matt's beard. Looks great.
Oh, you're coming with compliments today for both of us.
Yeah,
all right.
I love it.
What a great start to the podcast.
I'd rather start like that than be like, well, you look like shit. Or
listen, man, you're a strapping young lad yourself. So now that we've got everything established,
how's everybody doing?
Doing pretty well. It's
actually good.
It's a great day. It's Wednesday. I'm getting ready to leave for the week. I am going to Vegas for the weekend to see my favorite band of all time, Metallica.
Whoa.
I'm looking forward to having
Ride the lightning, Matt.
Ride the lightning, metal up your ass.
Yes. Enter the Sandman.
Yeah, exactly.
Dope. That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
You?
I'm going with my lifelong best friend, Dalsky, whom we talk about a lot on this podcast. But
that's
yeah,
awesome.
Right?
Yep. Little boys weekend, little guys weekend. So.
Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Beth, you're
Ryan,
in.
how are you?
I'm good. I'm doing well. It's like I just wrapped up a workout. I'm getting ready to go home back to good old the 203, Miss Beth, good old Connecticut. To go get out of the city for a little bit, visit my mama and my puppy. So
nice.
Yeah, nice. I'm just it's a nice day here in New York too. It's like 60 degrees, which is great.
What is up with that?
It's cold here.
I don't answer to the weather, man, Beth.
Well,
my friends, I don't know the answer to.
Well, it's freaking February and in Maine right now. It's like 60 as well, and it's going to be 8 tomorrow. It's like that. It's
that sounds about right.
Weather.
Yeah, here in Ohio, it's pretty cold today. It's probably. I haven't checked, but it's like 20 degrees. But the last 2 days, it's been 50s, 60s. I was going on my walk in a hoodie, you know. And,
man.
It's teasing. Springtime is teasing us. It's so close.
I know. It's probably not a good thing. But like, I still like it. Like I'm wearing my short shorts. I mean, I wear short shorts when it's like 30 out, but like still like I like it.
Like some chubbies or something.
Oh yeah, always.
Gotta rock the chubbies.
I don't want to leave Florida right now. I don't want to go back to Maine.
When do you go back?
March 5th.
Oh, you got time.
Yeah, you still got a good 2 weeks. Let's worry. That's a problem 2 weeks from now, Beth. You just come back a little bit darker, get that tan, still work on that tan a little bit more.
Yeah.
Look up the sunshine for us.
All you can see is like my teeth right now.
What's wrong with the teeth? They look great.
Well, I feel so dark, and then you just see my teeth.
Oh yeah, that's the best part though about the tan. It shows off the chompers. It's not like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Friends, but it's not like when you get like Ross.
With Ross. Oh my god, that was so funny. That's right.
Oh, what a good show. I saw that popped back up. I think it's on either Amazon or Paramount Plus or something right now, and I was thinking about starting it yet again, but I always like to have some type of a TV show going when I'm working at night or something, you know, down on the couch. So right now it's Seinfeld actually. So, but that's about.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, the show about nothing.
This is my first time talking to you, Matt, and live and in person. Well, not in person, but live.
Yeah, it's good to meet you, man. I was excited to have you on here today.
Yeah,
this is how we meet people these days. We don't fucking see them in person. We're like, hey, how you doing? This is my new friend, fucking Ryan. We've never met before, but we're bros.
Well, I randomly met Beth at a seminar. Right? Did I meet you there first time randomly, or was it for your inner circle?
It was there, and that was actually 3 years ago yesterday.
Wow!
Happy friend anniversary!
Happy friend anniversary!
Yeah, and happy engagement anniversary to Hunter.
That's right. They're married now.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's wild. But yeah, dude, pleasure.
Likewise, man. Likewise. So, dude, what is it? So you're pretty aligned with what we do with our way of coaching and our philosophies.
Oh, yeah.
But I want you to kind of introduce yourself for everybody that's listening.
Yeah. So my name is Ryan Kassim. I'm a mama's boy. I love all things food. I love
Nice.
playing video games. I love I don't know. I love,
You
the
got my
nerdy
attention right
stuff,
there.
Star Wars.
Ooh.
I love I'm trying to think things I like aren't fitness related because I feel like that's all I could talk about these days.
Yeah. You're
But
a
yeah,
pizza connoisseur. I saw.
I'm a pizza connoisseur. So I'm from Connecticut, which I said already, but Connecticut, in my opinion, is one of the best places for pizza, if not the world, which might be a bold
throwing the
take.
gauntlet down.
Yeah,
Ooh,
but
okay. So what's your favorite pizza in Connecticut? Because
Sally's.
I was Sally's.
Without
I don't know if I've heard of
hesitation,
Sally's.
he says it.
Right away.
So
And where's
it's
that?
Sally's. So Sally's is in New Haven, and it's right
Okay.
right around the corner from Pepe's.
Ah,
I don't know if have you been, Beth?
no, I haven't.
Oh, Bethy.
Did they feature
Yeah.
that on like Man versus Food or something? Both of those names sound very, very familiar. Like I feel like that was a hot debate or something for the episode.
Pepe's is I would say nationally known because they're always like mixed in like the top ranked pizzas in the world.
No shit.
And in the country.
Really?
In my opinion, they're overrated. It's good. Like it's really good. Like if you went to Pepe's, you'd be like, holy crap, like so good. Being in Connecticut, you're just like, yeah, it's good. It's overrated. It's not the best. But yeah, so that would be my number one in Connecticut would be Sally's at Pete's. But yeah, so like, yeah, to go along with that, yeah, pizza connoisseur. I've been I went to college for health promotion, health psychology. Couldn't get a job out of college, so then I became a personal trainer because like that's kind of next best thing. So I was a personal trainer for 7 years. Then I worked at the same time I worked in corporate wellness. And then I launched my online health coaching business. I think this summer is going to be 5 years officially.
Wow. You got ahead of the game,
which is crazy. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I got ahead of it. I started. I didn't know what the hell I was doing for probably like 2-3 years.
Who does?
Probably most people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm grateful when I did start.
Yeah. Did you were in Jordan's first business mentorship, huh?
Yeah. So I was part of the I guess the OGs and I remember that too. I was literally because up to that point, I wouldn't say my business wasn't doing terrible. Like I was working a personal trainer job and it was earning me extra income, which is nice. And living in my mom's basement, like I didn't have overhead or anything like that. And I clearly remember like laying in bed at like, I think it was at midnight and he had like just launched it. And I think it was not too far off after I went to his seminar. And I was just laying in bed. I was like, this is like such a big decision. Because I think at the time you had to put like X amount up front, like a large chunk up front. And I was like, oh my God, like, I really don't know if I have the money for this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? Like, I need to do this. If I feel uncomfortable, that means I should do it. So I did it. And yeah, it completely changed the way I coach people. It changed the way I do transactions. It changed the way I produce content. Like if you go back to my content, like 4 years ago, there's a lot of shirtless selfies, probably like a lot of shirtless selfies and like,
right.
Like silly things, like things I'm like, why aren't people interacting with my content? I don't get like, and it's like, so yeah, very cringy content. And then, over time you through that, it really helped me be like, okay, like educate in a different way.
Yeah.
Sure. And I love that too. You said how investing in yourself and investing in that mentorship was very uncomfortable for you. I can relate to that. And Beth, I'm sure you can relate to that. When I was looking to get online, move online, that was something I did as well. And it was a substantial investment. And this is kind of what we talk with about our clients and everybody too. Yes. Like working with a coach, that's an investment as well. You don't have to work with a coach, but it makes things a lot fucking easier if you do.
Right.
And you will get the return on that investment if you take yourself seriously and you're ready to work and be honest with yourself. And that's not just for us as coaches, that goes to anybody. And that's kind of a reoccurring theme for us on this podcast too, is being honest with yourself.
Oh yes, I'm sure. Is this the no bullshit podcast? I mean,
the world's number one.
Welcome.
Self-proclaimed world's number one. Disclaimer. That needs to be a category that people can vote on.
What an honor. This is great. Yeah.
Yes,
and that's exactly like, if I'm on the phone with somebody who inquires about coaching, that's like one of the first things I'll tell them too. I'm just like, listen, I'm not an asshole, but I'm not going to bullshit you. Like, I'm going to tell you what it is, because it doesn't serve you. If I don't just tell you straight up what's going on, it doesn't serve me, because, I've been down that road too, where you try to, especially in person, you really want to be like, you want to make someone feel welcomed and comfortable. And you're like, let me just like sugarcoat this answer so it doesn't crush them. But at the same time, it doesn't serve them. Right. And as you guys know, it's like, sometimes the best thing is to hear it straight from, the person you trust the most.
Yeah.
And obviously there's ways to do it in a way that doesn't sound like you're an asshole, right?
Yeah,
like,
not condescending and breaking it down. And
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I had an honest conversation with the client last week, and it was a really good conversation. She was loving all the progress she was making and getting stronger, and her blood work and everything was improving, which that's amazing, right? That's health right there. But like the scale and her physique wasn't necessarily changing in a way that she had hoped after 3 months and things like that, And I said, listen, we haven't really looked at calories or anything yet. So we can do one of two things. We can look at calories and potentially have to start bringing them in and reducing them a little bit, or we're going to have to increase activity. It's one of those two things, or both has to happen. And, I said, I'm not saying this to be a jerk, but I know you've been very kind of resistant to that. So that's what I have to say. What are your thoughts? And she's like, you're right. And I'm like, she's like, you're right. And I appreciate you telling me that. I'm like, you're not paying me to lie to you, right? No, you're not. Right. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's like, perfect example. I had a client who threw out like, I starting to feel that feeling where I feel like I'm not making enough progress, right? Or anytime you hear like enough or only, like those trigger words. So I literally I sent her like a video. I'm just like, hey, listen. And I compared to her data from when we started. I think she was like around 196 pounds. And then like currently she's hovering around like 161 or something like that. I'm like, look. Yeah, I'm like, one, you're being an asshole to yourself, because as soon as you say the word only, you completely discredit everything that came before that word. Right. So I said, one, you're being an asshole to yourself, because the person who started this journey, and I always like the big thing about before and after pictures too, is I like to point at their before pictures. I go, this before picture isn't wrong. Like, there's nothing wrong with the person who started this journey, because this person who started this journey was doing all the work while having that physique, while having any health complications, anything like that. So who you are now doesn't inherently make you a better person, right? Because you had to do all the work when you started. So I was like, listen, don't discredit all the work you did. Look from a data perspective, how far you've come. And just remember that because there's going to be times when you feel like I'm not making enough progress. We're human. Like, you're obviously there's that urge to always want something more. But I said, when you have these moments, you have to just remind yourself of your roots, right? Because that person who started would be thrilled to be in that present day, physique or condition. Right. So it's like things like that, where you're just like, hey, this is just the no bullshit facts of how it goes. And like, if you rely on your emotion, then you're not going to, get very far.
We have to take emotion out of it. Absolutely. Well said. Well said.
The Jedi mindset.
The Jedi mindset. The Force is strong. And that's something we hear a lot too, right? Especially when we set up a new plan for somebody. That only word, when we give them a 3 day workout or 4 day workout. What else is there? What more? What am I going to be doing on my off days? Or you want me to rest for 2 minutes? Like, what else can I do in that time, in my rest time? It's like, no, you fucking rest.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Always want more. Is this it? Like,
and the way I think, and the way I kind of get them to stop thinking in that way is like, Has doing it that way, going balls to the wall, has that worked for you up to this point? Right.
Yeah.
It obviously it hasn't worked or worked that well or consistently because we're talking now. So let's try something different. Let's try to do less, because sometimes less is more.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's about the sustainability and the consistency factor is what we're looking for.
That's what we're always looking for.
Yes. I'm loving the video series on TikTok that you've been doing about being in a deficit, and you're including, Kit Kats and Reese's peanut butter cups and fucking
Nice.
pints of ice cream.
Oh yeah. Well,
So you're in a deficit right now, man?
I'm in a deficit right now.
Let's hear about that little series.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm inspired by a couple people. One being Jordan, because Jordan did his Big Mac challenge, right?
Legendary.
Which was super. I think pretty groundbreaking in the fitness industry. Another person I'm inspired by was Jared Hamilton. He once did a donut a day challenge. So for me, it was kind of like, well, I get super bored really easily, and I don't want to eat a Big Mac every day. I don't want to eat a donut a day. So I was just like, let me eat a food that somebody deems unhealthy every day and show people that you could still lose weight. Because one, what it does is it includes a wider range of people, someone who likes Ben and Jerry's, somebody who likes sour cream and onion chips, someone who likes a Kit Kat, right? Two, it keeps me so that I'm entertained every day by like, okay, like how can I fit this Popeyes chicken into, my nutrition? And then three, it's just like a nice way for me in a deficit too. So not only from an education perspective, but it's sharpening my relationship with food, right? It's sharpening my ability to include these foods that someone might deem unhealthy, and it's helping my relationship with food so that I can have a more sustainable approach and less likely to overeat on something that when we get in a deficit, sometimes we tend to eat less of. So yeah, that was kind of like my inspiration behind it. I think it's done pretty well on TikTok. It's got pretty well received. Obviously, you have those people who are like, you're gonna be unhealthy.
Fucking processed food.
What's your
sodium? What's the fucking sugar content?
Yeah, what's your sodium intake? Blah blah. And I'm just like, my next video, I'm just like, oh, it's actually under 2,300 milligrams. Like blah blah. Like. It's good. But it's honestly be really well received. I had a lot of people comment like, oh, this is helping my relationship with food so much and all that stuff. And I'm just like, awesome. Like that was my whole intent with it. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. My eat something unhealthy every day and still lose weight challenge.
How long are you doing? Are you in this fat loss phase for?
So I'm probably gonna stick with it for like 60, 90 days. So I'm big on even when I'm working with clients on setting duration-based goals, especially when it comes to fat loss, because it's a finite thing. I think too often when people do a fat loss phase, it's so open-ended that what tends to happen is people tend to fall off track more frequently because it seems like a forever thing and you don't have like a set. If it's like a set goal weight, sometimes that goal weight doesn't come until like 9 months down the line, right?
Weight.
So,
like a big goal weight. I like to break it down into small chunks.
Yeah, exactly. So I like to go by duration. So like, I tell my clients, like, let's be 80% consistent for 90 days. And whatever the result is after that, cool. We'll take a little diet break to give yourself like a mental and physical rest. And then if we want, we'll evaluate and go back into it if you still want to lose some weight. So I kind of take the same approach where it's like, I'll, stick with this for 60, 90 days. If my biggest thing is if my energy levels drop at all, like my workouts start getting affected, I'm just like, fuck this. Like, I'm going to eat more because I love working out and I don't want that I could care less about how I look versus how I perform. So I'm always, that's my biggest indicator is like, okay, my workouts start to suck. Let me go back into maintenance or something like that.
I love that you also mentioned the mental aspect of it because, like dieting for months and months or years on end, it's going to ruin your relationship with food, screw with you mentally. So just doing it in those 2 or 3 month blocks like that, get in, get out, and then get back to maintenance as quickly as possible, essentially. And then take a month off and then maybe do it again if you need to. I think that really encourages a lot of different things, right? It encourages a healthier relationship with food and your body. and mentally it gives you that break of just the being more aware of calories and things like that. Me personally, I'm actually in a fat loss phase right now, and I know Beth was just in one prior to her trip. So I'm currently preparing for my first powerlifting meet. So for
Let's
that,
go.
I have to drop 8 to 10 pounds down to 198. I'm down to 202 right now as of this morning. So I've got about another 4 pounds to go in about 4 weeks actually. So I'm right on track, but I actually haven't tracked anything yet up to this
Oh,
point.
wow.
I've just been prioritizing my protein, nutrient dense foods most of the time. And then I'm still having all these other foods. I've had ice cream. I've had pizza a couple times, cake for my son's birthday, all this other
Nice.
stuff. I'm just not eating like an asshole. Instead of my nightly bowl of cereal, it's like a smaller bowl of cereal a few times a week, things like this, those small, subtle changes. We don't have to get rid of everything. We just have to be more mindful of it.
I respect that so much because usually I intuitive eating is such a practice skill, right? Where you probably spent so much time tracking and weighing your food and all that. Even when I'm in a deficit, I still like to track, and it's interesting because when I first got into tracking, I started with like if it fits your macros type deal.
Yep, same.
And I literally had a tracking streak on MyFitnessPal for like 500 something days or maybe
almost
even
2 years.
Yeah, maybe even a little bit more. And what happened was tracking. So tracking gave me like such insight on nutrition and how that is the most important thing for whatever your goal is. And then what happened though was I became so addicted to tracking calories and anytime I didn't, it made me anxious. So I went through, like, I had to literally, I remember the day I was like, I'm not going to log into MyFitnessPal and like let that streak go too. So it was like a weird, like, you have such a streak going, like blah, blah, blah. So it was crazy, but it really like held such a power over me. So I had to go into more of an intuitive approach from there, because I was like, listen, I've been doing this for like 3 years. I can look at a piece of chicken and be like, that's 4.3 ounces of chicken. That's going to be about 28.6 grams of protein. That's like 3 ounces. Like I can do that, right? Like I've been doing this for a long time. So it's interesting because when I track now for weight loss, I don't have that same addictive connection to it. For me, it's just like I enjoy the structure of it. And then when I'm in maintenance or a surplus, I can just do it intuitively because I could go in and out of those things relatively easily. So it's interesting. At one point, one extreme was for me, and now to be in a place where I feel very comfortable and I can easily disassociate the emotional aspect from tracking. So I think I think that's really cool that you're doing an intuitive approach, especially for your competition, because I'd probably be like, let me structure this because I need
right.
And I've been trying to not track for as long as possible. I'm not anti-tracking. I have a lot of clients tracking. I do think so. When I get back from my trip from Vegas next week, I am going to start tracking for the duration of it because I need to make sure I hit my weight class. Well, and I say I need to. If I don't, I just get bumped up. But I don't want to compete with the guys in the 220-pound weight class. That's a big range of
right.
I'll be with the big boys then, and not
because they're also cutting down too.
220 pounds. Sorry.
Because they're also cutting down too. So that big
most guys
boy
probably
at 225 could actually be like a 250-pound guy who cut down to a weight class.
Yeah,
right.
And of course, I'm doing this. I'm not doing this to compete with other people. This is my first time, but at the same time, I want to put up some respectable numbers for myself.
Yeah, why not?
So
right.
So that's my goal, and I'm really feeling invigorated by it and the structure of it, like you said.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Good for you. That's something I always thought of. Like I've been through such phases with like fitness stuff. Like at one point I was like, I'm going to do a bodybuilding show, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then at my gym, so I used to work at don't shout out, but shout out LA Fitness. And it had like the meatheads that went there. So there were so many like bodybuilder guys there. So obviously whoever the environment you're around, you're going to gravitate towards that.
Right.
So I was like, oh, I'll do a show, blah, blah. And then the more I'm like talking to people about it, or I'm in it, or I could notice my relationship with my body like getting worse.
Mm.
I'm like, no way. I'm not, I'd rather like, cause I come from a background where I played, competitive sports and all that. And I'm just like, I don't want to go up on stage and have somebody's judgment of what they think an ideal body type should look like, and that's how I
Right.
win. I'm like, that doesn't sound fair at all. I'm like, so I always liked the idea of powerlifting for that reason, where it's like your athletic ability, your training, and you show it off on one day. I think the only issue for me was like my body, like anytime I go I heavy, like my body's broken down. So I'm just like,
Got it.
I'm like, what's end goal for me to get like
from all the years of
500-pound
sports?
squat and then potentially blow out my knee one day? I'm just like,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
I'm good with that too. I'm just like, I'll just like be athletic and
You just want to be strong, healthy. That's nothing
strong
wrong
and
with that.
healthy, looking naked. I'm like,
Mhm.
that's cool with me. I'm good with that.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's good goals right there. And yeah, and I just did it because just to push up, push something new and push outside my
Mhm.
comfort zone. And
Yeah.
and I had talked about it, kind of like you had talked about it a lot too with bodybuilding. I had
Yeah.
talked about it, and there was this one guy in the powerlifting gym, or the gym I go to, he's really strong. He has like 800-pound deadlift. It's fucking insane.
Jeez.
But he was preparing for his powerlifting meet at the beginning of February. He's like, dude, like, he's like, you could actually go there, and like, what's stopping you? Like, what's stopping you? You're not going to go
Yeah.
there and be competing with anybody else. Do it for yourself. And like,
Yeah.
you're fucking right. And I'd been
Yeah.
talking about it for so long. Like, it's time to shut up and do it. So
Yeah, I like that because it's one of those things like when you like 10 years from now, maybe you're like, I really wish I did that,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I respect
Yeah.
the hell out of that. Good for you.
And in 10 years from now, I'll be 45. So I could, if I wanted to still compete, then I would actually be in the masters division. So I think that starts at 40 years old, actually, for powerlifting. So I'm almost a master, I'm a rookie and almost a master at the same time. So I did look, I peeked ahead to see the other guys in my weight class. So I'm doing the open division, and the other two guys that have registered so far are like 20 years old. And I looked them up on Instagram. They're going to smoke me, and I'm okay with it. So good for them. They're fucking strong as hell. I don't care. So
yeah, dude, I
It's gonna
love
be
that.
fun. You'll be
Yeah.
fine.
for sure.
Yeah. And where is it? It's in Ohio.
Yeah, it's over by Akron, in Orrville, Ohio. It's a USAPL sanctioned tournament or meet. So it's like the cream of the crop,
Orville,
A creme de la
Redenbacher.
creme.
Redenbacher. Yeah, I don't know if there's any
Popcorn.
correlation there or not. But
Correlation. I don't know.
Yep.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Good for you. And Beth, what are you up to right now?
I'm just living life.
Yeah. I love how you
Yeah,
just did a spontaneous road trip.
What do you mean? It wasn't spontaneous. It was planned.
Well, I love that. Spontaneous for
Yeah,
me to
we-
see you
we
on, I
got-
guess.
Yeah, you weren't expecting it, so it was spontaneous.
Right. Exactly.
One day she was in snow-covered Maine. The next she's in
I was
sunny.
like, yeah, fuck it. Let's just go for the month. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I took my son out of school he'll be out of school for 5 weeks, and we rented an Airbnb in Cocoa Beach, Florida.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
That's
been
awesome.
really nice. It's been really nice.
That's like the dream as a kid.
Right? Skip school just not go to school and go to the beach.
Yeah. He's got a special interest project that he has to work on, though, and it's going to be about marine life. So what's cool is we've done a lot of marine life stuff, SeaWorld. We've gone to like a couple of like aquatic centers here.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I
Very
work in the
cool.
morning. I go to the gym. I joined a gym for 4 weeks. So I've
Awesome.
been getting my workouts, going to the beach and working, which has been interesting with the family here.
What's
I love that. Yeah.
the old saying from what was it, Jersey Shore, Gym Tan Laundry, GTL? You're living it, or you're pretty much living that right now.
I am.
She's snooky, man.
Also,
Never thought we would talk
am
about
fucking
Jersey Shore on
Snooki.
this show, but here we are.
Right?
And Beth is Snooki. Is that what you said?
Yeah, she's our Snooki.
That's hilarious. Sober Snooki.
Sober Snooki. Yeah, exactly. The opposite.
She might be. I think she is these days.
Pretty
too,
sure most of them are
Is she?
sober now.
I think they all are. I mean, you have to wonder why after seeing that show, right? Like,
Holy
no.
shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Didn't she just come back from Costa Rica?
I did. It was freaking awesome. I think my favorite part about it was that I wasn't on my phone the whole time. which was
Yeah.
was such a I love that. It was so great because I could, but there was the barrier of like, if you want to have service, you got to pay $10 a day. And I was like, well, screw that. Like,
That was the
I'm not paying
justification you
$10.
needed.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, nah, I'll be frugal on that. So
Yeah.
so I went for a week for my buddy's birthday. I had pink eye in both eyes to start the trip. So
Oh no,
Oh, are you
both
kidding me?
eyes.
I'm not kidding. It was so funny because like obviously you get the comments and the DMs. People are like, oh, like what butt did you touch or anything like that? I'm like,
Always
listen,
get, yeah.
I get the butt jokes that come with the pink eye. I
Yeah.
go, but it's so funny because all my friends I went with are nurses or health professionals, and they're like, that like mostly only kids get pink eye, right? I'm like, I get it. I have pink eye in both eyes. It's not a great start to the trip. But it was awesome. We went whitewater rafting. I rode
Nice.
horsebacks on the beach, hiked the rainforest. I
Oh, nice.
bathed in a river. I like sat in hot springs. I did a volcanic mud bath.
Dude, amazing.
And what else did we do? We rented like this catamaran, like in the middle of the ocean, just like hanging out. I was just like, this is it was awesome. It was
Oh,
perfect.
heaven.
Action-packed
Yeah.
week. Wow. You probably needed a
Yeah.
vacation from that vacation after that.
I know, man. Costa Rica is one of those things where it's like you could do both. Like you can do the excursions where you hike and there's so much to see. Like if you wanted to do zip line stuff too, or it's that vacation where you literally could just hang out on the beach the whole time and listen to live music and all that stuff. Like you can do both. We tried to do both, and we made sure to kind of like after like excursion days to do like just like a rest day or something like
Okay,
that by
yeah.
the pool or anything like that. But it was great, man. I freaking loved it. It was awesome.
I always want to go to Costa Rica.
Yeah, I've never
Yeah.
been.
Yeah, it's I mean, from the food, it made me like fall in love with the rice and beans. The people there were like super kind, and they had to deal with like my broken Spanish. Yeah, there's a lot of things like if you wanted to buy things like super affordable. There's a bunch of like the fruit there, the pineapple there was insane. The mango I had was amazing. But yeah, it was a great trip. That's one of my goals this year is to do more traveling and
Yeah.
get out of my apartment more.
I love that goal for you.
Yeah.
I'm a big traveler. That's one of the main things I do is that's my main hobby. I plan everything around my trips,
Mhm.
hiking, like you said. I've done whitewater rafting a couple of times. It's just that feeling of adventure and just it's so freeing, it just really makes you learn a lot about yourself too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's something now that things are more opened up from COVID and all that stuff, it's definitely just like for me it's like, yeah, this is the time to do it. I'm not tied down by anything. I'm single, no kids, so I'm just like, let me just get it in now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to be going to Texas for the Inner Circle retreat?
I'm not. I'm really kind of bummed because I guess I'm not bummed. One of my best friends is getting married, and I'm one of the best men. So
You kind of have to be there.
I kind of have to be there, which is tough. But I was like even thinking, I was like, can I go for like one day and fly out like that morning? I was like, there's no way I'm doing that. I go, don't you dare jeopardize like this wedding.
Yeah.
But
I feel you there.
Unfortunately, no. Are you going, Beth?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man.
When's that taking place?
July something.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
like July 16th.
Second or third week of July. Yeah.
And I can kind of relate to that too, Ryan. So fun fact, I am also an ordained minister.
Wow. Let's
What?
go.
Yes, I am an ordained minister.
Oh
I
my
can
God.
make you do push-ups and I can get you legally wed. At the same
Let's
time.
go.
Oh my God. Amazing.
So there was a trip that I wanted to go on in September. I can't remember where the trip was to, somewhere out west, do some hiking. And I can't go because I had already committed to officiating my friend's wedding Labor Day weekend. So, I mean, I'm not mad. I'm not sad about it. It's just bad timing. So
Wow. All right. It's your first wedding.
Those will be my third. So I officiated. So
Oh my
Originally-
He's a
God.
veteran.
I got ordained
It's
for.
my third this year. I did 5 last year. So it's
Oh, you meant this year? No, this
no,
it'll be my
I
first-
know it's third overall.
Fucking
The third
Minister
overall,
Matt,
yeah.
Minister Matt over here.
Yeah, I did an Instagram
That's great.
post
I was
about it
expecting you to be
actually a
like,
while
yeah, it's my
back.
first one and done. But you're like, yeah, this is
Right?
like my
He's
thing.
like fucking career out of it.
I'm essentially.
It's how I
the,
break up my summers. It's great. It's great.
And actually, I had 2 clients that had talked to me about they were doing a location wedding, right? A travel destination wedding is what it's called. And they were wanting me to come to do their wedding on a beach in Florida, but it didn't work out. But they worked out, but it wasn't.
Highly
We weren't able to
requested.
make it work out for me to go there. So,
Jeez.
but that would be really cool. I got ordained for my middle sister actually years ago, back in like 2015 or something, as like my wedding gift to them. Like I officiated their wedding, and then I did my brother's wedding just like 2 years ago, and now this is actually a lifelong really good friend of mine as well. I'm doing her wedding, so just keeping it
Wow.
close with the friends and family, you know. but
My
it's still-
man's been registered for 7 years.
yeah.
Wow.
So
Yep.
for all the ordained ministers that listen to this podcast, what would be your best advice?
Oh man, I was not expecting a question like that. The best advice: get to know the people that you're that you're legally wedding. You know,
Mhm.
what is the word there? I'm an ordained
Like
minister.
you even
And I don't even know
what the fuck that-
Never said he was the best minister.
Yeah,
he
no.
does it.
Yeah, for me, it's that way you can have some you make it a little bit more fun. You know, you have history with them and things like that. At least that's for me, because I don't do it just for everybody. Essentially, so.
You're not just gonna do it.
I'm not for hire. Don't anybody get any ideas.
Like that-
Highly sought
like
after.
Like that training, Coach Matt.
Yeah, that's gonna be the new brand of
Minister
the.
Matt.
Not only will I get you the results you want, but I will
Oh, I
marry
should
you
never have mentioned
on
this.
top
This
of
is gonna
that.
open up a whole can of worms.
Oh, shit,
Minister-
it is.
Minister Matt Larfit, coming at you, highly sought after ordained minister. Number 1 tip: get to know the people.
Get to know the people. Yeah.
Don't just marry anybody.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't throw yourself out there. You're better than
And
that.
I'm going to Vegas this weekend, so I should probably take my own advice
Oh,
too.
shit.
Wow, big weekend for you. Is there
With my
anybody
best
here that
friend,
can
we might
marry
get into
us?
trouble. Yeah.
Now, could you marry yourself to somebody?
No, you can't do that.
Oh, I thought you meant actually just marry himself.
Oh.
I've thought about that.
I was like, oh,
No, you got to have an actual officiant. You can't do it yourself. So
Okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
interesting. Wow.
yeah,
I'm learning a lot of new things today.
yeah.
Me too. Me too. Minister Matt. I didn't know I was Minister Matt Larfit. I love that. New
boy.
nickname. Everybody,
Yeah. Now that
you
I-
review
okay,
this podcast,
what is
5-star
something-
review
What is something someone may not know about you?
yeah,
Ryan?
about me.
let's
hear.
go that route. I like that route
Let's
better.
say fun facts about Ryan.
Fun facts. All right. Fun facts about me. Well, we already said I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. You know, when I was growing up, my mom was a hairdresser, still is a hairdresser. So I would be the kid that would either be dumped off at her salon and just causing havoc in the back, or I'd have a babysitter. So my babysitter would often just put on all the Star Wars movies for me. So that's how I got into being a Star Wars nerd. Other fun facts about me. I went through an emo phase in
Nice.
5th grade, did the emo / skateboarder thing. Let's see. I once had a fake pierce earring in 4th grade. With blonde tips on the hair, so very 90s.
Yeah, absolutely.
90s kid. Trying to think other fun facts. Oh man,
How old are you?
I'm 30 years old. I just turned 30.
Okay.
In October. For all the astrology people, I'm a Scorpio. I don't know if that means anything to anybody.
I'm sure it does. I don't subscribe.
That's
to
how I lose weight, because I'm a
signs.
Scorpio. Yeah, based on my astrology sign. But yeah, I mean, I really put myself out there on social media about anything I do. I love music. I actually made an
Yeah.
album in 2015
No kidding.
called The Wheel. So I love to play guitar. I love to sing. Um,
Okay.
and
What
yeah,
type of guitar and singing? Like, is it hard
Yeah.
rock, metal? What talk to me
no,
here?
no, no, no. We're talking
Emo? Were
like
you
I'm gonna make you love me when I sing. Like I'm gonna do like acoustic,
like your John Mayer?
like John Mayer. I just saw him the other night. It was
Ah,
All right,
amazing. It
everybody,
was
check out Ryan.
yeah.
What was the song called, or what was the album called?
The album's called The Wheel.
The Wheel.
It's
That's
on
it.
it's on
woo.
Spotify and Apple Music.
Okay.
And yeah, I actually saw John Mayer the other night, and it was great because two of his one his drummer and his backup singer got COVID like 2 hours before the show, and he played like mostly an all acoustic set, which was amazing. And then he brings in, since we're in New York City, brings in Questlove, like legendary drummer, to the
Nice.
show, and they like, it was so good. But yeah, that's like my style. Like Ed Sheeran's my boy. Love Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I like sad music. Like if
Going
I'm
back to your
working
emo
out
days.
too, like sometimes I'm
Yeah.
just listening to sad music, and I'm just like,
You
I
know, I
love
do
this
too.
song.
I do too. I get right
Yep.
into
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah. Like put on some Alanis Morissette. Like give
Those
me
are
that.
some of the
I'll
best
do it.
workouts right
Michelle
there when you're,
Branch.
I know. I know.
yeah.
What
Michelle
is it
You know,
about
Branch.
that?
Vanessa Carlton. Make my way
Yeah.
downtown. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah. So those are some fun facts about me.
Love it. Love it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I would say, in terms of like my coaching style, I'd say,
Mhm.
uh, what I would say my evolving point from a coach, was obviously when I started coaching, it was very, you're in-person training, and you're doing that grind where you're just trying to get people their physical results, and like, there's like that, part where corporate gyms will have you do their weigh-ins and do their measurements and their body fat percentage, and sometimes it's a really discouraging process. And then,
Yeah.
what I was noticing when I was training people in person, I was just like, you know what, I'm not really making as much of a difference with my clients as I'd like, because it's very surface level. It's very just like
Mhm.
one-sided. Let's work on physical results. And I didn't have like my come to Jesus moment until I went through like a very deep depressive state, a very super anxiety ridden state. And I decided to go to therapy myself, and that happened like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And it was literally just like I was at such a low point. So I literally was just like, I had like I was sitting on my deck in my like backyard, and I'm just like, I need to go to therapy. I'm just like, this is like, you kind of come to those crossroads. You're like, if I
Sure.
continue down this road, like who knows where it goes, So
Yeah.
enter therapy, and it's like one of the hardest / most challenging things that I'm super grateful that I did, because what it allowed me to do is, one, just work on myself and be a more vulnerable person, learn how to communicate my feelings to loved ones, to anybody, learn how to set boundaries. But the biggest thing it helped me with, and I wasn't even trying to get this from therapy, was it helped me with clients, right? Like it helped me with
Mm.
understanding, creating behavioral change with clients, and being more empathetic, and allowing clients to feel like they can be vulnerable and in a comfortable place. And that's really like, once I started paying attention to that, especially with clients, that's when my clients saw the best results, because I really adopted the quote that any physical results you get are temporary if they're built on poor mental or behavioral habits, right? So
Mhm.
it doesn't. And I was that guy in the gym. Like I was that guy in the gym who, physically I looked great. Like I probably looked way better than I do now, right? But on the inside, I was broken. Like I was
I feel
absolutely
you.
broken, and nobody can tell, right? Because I'm very good at just like putting on a smile, right?
Yeah.
Like I had braces for 2.5 years and all that. Like, hey, it's a nice smile, but it doesn't mean shit, because behind it, I was hiding everything I was feeling. So that was probably like, that's the not so fun fact, but it's the biggest fact in my life that has allowed me to make the most difference in not only my own life, but my clients' lives as well.
Yeah,
I think that's the most important thing we've talked about, honestly, right there. That
for
I can
sure.
relate to that personally too. Like you said,
Mhm.
back in 2016, 2017, I was definitely in terms of the way I looked, my physique, I was shredded. I had the bulging muscles, the fine chest and shoulders and biceps, but I wasn't happy internally. I wasn't happy with myself. I was doing it for the wrong reasons, trying to make other people happy and impress other people. And it wasn't until I started looking inward and seeing like, why the fuck am I not happy? What I've got
Mhm.
everything I got everything I was working towards, right? I got the six pack. I got the girlfriend that I was after, everything like that, but it wasn't working for me. So,
Mhm.
had to open up that internal dialogue and figure that shit out. And it's hard.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. And I
That,
know Beth has been through the gambit as well, right?
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah. I think it helps me become a better coach just having gone through that. I may
Mhm.
be a little bit tougher in some areas because I feel like, when you do really hard shit, I think a lot of people underestimate the power of what they can do.
Mhm.
And that's where, like, it's like, if I can overcome something like alcoholism, you can do what you want to do to get to where you need
Yes.
to be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like,
Everybody
I
Yeah,
comes
think
from
it's
a different place.
absolutely.
possible.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
How long,
absolutely.
how long, Ryan, was that kind of journey for you, that kind of discovery and learning about yourself and just kind of adapting to a new mindset? Or, I mean, it's probably still ever evolving, obviously. It's never, it's
Yeah.
not a set thing.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was just talking about that with I had a really deep conversation with a friend the other night where it's just like it's interesting once you start uh whether it's you start going to therapy or you start paying more attention to your mental health, because once you do that, it's almost like you're awoken to the
Mhm.
fact that you're broken, right? We're all broken in some way. And it's an interesting thing because before you notice you're broken, there's like almost like that sweet ignorance where you're like, yeah, all I have to worry about is going to work and making sure like I talk to friends and stuff like that. But once you're able to recognize like, if I want to, you know, be able to mentally withstand what life throws at me and enjoy the most out of life and enjoy the most out of moments, then you have to it's a constant, right? It's a
Yeah.
constant. It's like, and that's like the interesting thing. It's like, I still go to therapy. I go to therapy once a month now just to kind of check in with myself and
Sure.
to challenge myself, because like it's
Mhm.
the hardest thing for anybody to sit down and talk about themselves for an hour.
Hmm.
And not just like surface stuff like, oh, where are you
Very
from?
uncomfortable.
You like pizza. Or it's like, no, it's like the deepest shit that
Yeah.
maybe nobody knows about me. And maybe I know about myself, but I repressed it a bunch. So
Yep.
it's an ongoing thing, right? And I've been going to therapy consistently for about 4 years, almost 5 years now. And I originally went to therapy. I had my first introduction to therapy when I was in high school. My parents split up, and that helped me a ton too. And so it's
Yeah.
something that's been an ongoing constant in my life. And I'm sure anybody listening to this can relate to, where it's like, once you are become aware of, the ghost in the machine, then you kind of, it's a constant work in progress, and I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's not something that gets talked about a lot, especially from a male perspective, is therapy
Right.
and working on herself like that. That's fucking powerful, man. I do appreciate you sharing that with us, and that's something I think,
Absolutely.
as I'm diving into your content, I definitely see that, and I try to talk about that stuff as well.
Mhm.
That we need to break down that stigma of
Yeah.
men not being like, just be fucking strong and hide your
Mhm.
emotions, and
Right.
you show emotions you're weak. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's super
Yeah.
important stuff to talk about.
I try to
Yeah. And it's,
talk to my son about that too, because he tries to hide that he's upset or that he's going to
mhm.
cry. I'm like, it's okay to cry. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be upset at you for doing that. Like, you don't
Yeah.
have to
Mhm.
play Mr. Little Tough Kid right there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And to be honest, when I first started, like my intention, I didn't even think about like what other men, don't talk about or anything like that. I was just like, I need to just talk about me going to therapy because it helps me
Hmm.
uh not hide it. And because if I when I what I noticed when I first started, I was just like, almost feel like that crazy person or something's wrong with me that I am going to therapy. And I was like, no, nothing's wrong with me inherently. It's just like
Hmm.
I'm going to therapy because I want to help myself. And, if me talking about me going to therapy helps anyone, amazing. And obviously, yeah, with males in general, it's one of the big topics, obviously male suicide is one of the higher things in the world. And then also just like I was raised by a mother who wears her emotions on her sleeve. And I was raised by a father who comes from the Middle East who doesn't, I didn't hear him say I love you for years, or like tell him he was proud of me for years, or get a hug or anything like that. So, when you have like those two dichotomies growing up in life, it's like, I'm an emotional kid who doesn't share his emotions, and that just carried with me to my adulthood. So yeah, I mean, that's ultimately why I started. Like anytime I go to therapy, I always talk about it on my stories, because I'm just like, I need to talk about this, because if this helps someone who's struggling and they see this and they see me going through it, and that's their signal to be like, yeah, I can do that too, then that's my ultimate goal. And then same thing with my content. Like that's one of the biggest things I'll talk about. I'm like, yes, obviously a calorie deficit. Yes, obviously, lower volume foods, high protein if you're trying to lose weight, blah, blah, blah. But, let's talk about, your mindset through it. Let's talk about, maybe why you self-sabotage because you identify yourself as always going to be a fat person or anything like that. Like let's talk about behavior change. Let's talk about, habits that don't serve you, all that. So
Yeah.
Super important.
I love that. Yeah. That's amazing. Shoot, our hour's almost up. Yeah, that was really powerful stuff there. Beth, did you have anything to add on to that? It looked like you wanted to say something.
No.
Okay.
I think just the stigma around things like mental health, and even like I was just going to say about, even coming out as an alcoholic, like things that people may judge you on are very hard to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And so
especially when you put it on social media.
Yeah.
Being very vulnerable, very vulnerable.
It's like Ryan, like making the decision to like suddenly like, fuck, I need therapy. Like that's not an easy decision to come up, to just do it because of you're like, do I really need therapy? Am I that person? You start to second guess like everything. Kind of like with me drinking, I was like, fuck, I have to identify myself as an alcoholic. Like that was the hardest part of actually going into AA was like, fuck, everyone's going to judge me. Like that's the first thing I thought. Like there's no way that I could be that person.
Right. I'm sure even when you were telling people closest to you that you had a problem, right? Or like that, like you were identified like that. Like same thing with me when I remember like I felt so much anxiety, like just telling people I was going to therapy. It's a weird barrier we put in front of ourselves.
Yeah.
And it all changes with how we start talking to ourselves and trying to shut out the outside world sometimes and stop listening to some of the stuff that's out there.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's hard to do.
It is. It's a lot easier said than done, for sure.
There's a lot of help. There's a lot of help out there. You just have to, make the choice.
So Ryan, where can people find out more information about you, your socials, website, anything you want to plug?
Give it to us all.
All right, let me get the laundry list. So website is bodybyryan.com. TikTok is Ryan Kassim. Instagram is bodybyryanfitness. I have a Facebook group called Body by You where I do live webinars each week, just like trainings and stuff like that to help people. Awesome. It's called Body by You, yeah. And then I think that's pretty much it. Like that's all people need to know.
Awesome,
address,
man.
phone number,
social security number, please. I think
that's all we require to be on this podcast.
Absolutely. Well,
awesome,
I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I gotta. Matt, you're in Ohio.
Yes.
Are you coming to East Coast anytime soon?
Actually, I'm coming to Maine in March to meet Beth.
Live podcast.
This is us announcing it. Actually,
yes.
So I'm going to be coming to Maine to meet with Beth, talk about the podcast, and just collaborate on some stuff. Like I leave the day after my powerlifting meet to come to Maine to visit Beth. So it's super. So I'll be out that way. So yeah,
let's go.
Let's go.
That's awesome. You're gonna make sure you try the chowder.
The chowder.
Chowder. I don't know if you like lobster.
I love it all. I love seafood.
It's an odd time of year to come to Maine, though. It's going to be either like muddy, cold, snowy. There's like a lot of the seasonal places won't be open.
Got it. Yep. That's
you
okay.
know, like the summer, but
Ooh.
that's okay.
Well, I'm going. So, and I'm going back in August then too, Ryan, because we're going to do a hiking trip together with a couple of other people.
Wow.
So.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Hey Ryan, if you
want
want to join the hiking Katahdin trip, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, come in
what
August.
What was the second part about a what trip? Katahdin?
We're gonna hike Katahdin, Mount Katahdin.
Oh, Katahdin. I mean, what does my hiking skill need to be? Because I have Merrill hiking boots. Does that? I don't know if that qualifies me.
You should be good. I mean, I don't know what Katahdin's like, Beth. So you speak for
it. It's difficult. It's probably will be the most difficult thing you have ever done in your life.
Holy crap!
I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Oh, it's over 5,000 feet elevation, and it's you're bouldering and like rock. It's not like a hike through the dirt.
Wow!
Right? You're above tree line, so you're like end up like in the sky. It's like the end of the Appalachian Trail.
Wow! So you're actually both. So I've done the craziest hikes I've done Zion in Utah, and we did like Angel's Landing, and we did like the I forget the river one, but we did that, and then we did some other hikes. But I've never like actually bouldered during a hike.
There's some of it. So Google Mount Katahdin and like the hike, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
And that'll be
I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be good.
I think you're gonna be great. Yeah.
We just started our Instagram group chat with everybody that's going. So if you want in, we'll add you.
Yeah. Add me. Because I'll add to my traveling trips.
You're close enough, right? We're thinking like the 3rd or 4th week in August.
Okay.
And I'm planning on getting like a big house that I'm renting.
Dope.
So yeah, I think it sleeps like 20.
Perfect.
Wow.
More the merrier.
That's the one that I want to get anyway.
You got to fill it up.
Yeah,
you can't hike in a big group like that. You have to separate.
Got it.
Yeah.
Like small groups of probably like 4 or 5 or something.
It's to the point where you have to sign in at the ranger station, and then you have to sign in when you come back to make sure that everyone's safe and off the mountain.
Yeah. Now that we're putting the fear back.
I'll order some flares on Amazon now.
Yeah. It's awesome. I've done it 7 times. I've done it 7 times. If I can do it, you can do it for sure.
Okay. All right. Okay.
There it is.
All right. Add me to it.
But yeah.
I'll add you right after this.
Add me to it. Yeah.
Fuck yes. Yeah. Kim Schwab is doing it. I believe Kim Schwab and Iris and my friend Mandy and Matt's friend Dolsky. Is that his name?
Yep, my best friend that I'm going to Vegas with this weekend. He's already committed to it as well. So
how many is that so far? I'm not sure.
Is that 5 or 6?
5 or 6. Yeah. And carry the
14
one.
more to go. That's awesome. Dope. Yeah. Hell yeah.
That'd be fucking amazing, Ryan, for sure.
I know. That's where is it? Is it in Maine?
It's in Baxter. It's Baxter State Park. So we would be okay. So you've been to where have you? Bar Harbor, right?
Yeah.
So think a little bit past there, not too much.
Okay.
Millinocket, Maine.
Okay. Maybe I'll make a trip out of it. Stay at my aunt's for like a little bit. Okay.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah, she lives right in Acadia, so.
Okay, so you won't be far from it. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Oh.
Nice.
All right, I'm in.
All right.
Make
it there it is. We're just gonna get everybody on the podcast now to start committing to it.
All right. Forewarned, who's ever after this podcast, we are gonna ask you to hike Mount Katahdin.
Right.
So.
You call yourself a fitness person?
Yeah.
You need to get on Mount Katahdin.
Ryan's starting trends with us. Let's do it.
That's right.
We're gonna have Minister Matt. So if there is a couple that would like to go.
If anybody wants to get married at the top of Katahdin, let's do it.
Wow. Minister Matt Lar Fitness. I love that. That's gonna be great.
Oh man, this is gonna be fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm done.
Hell yeah, dude.
Sweet guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much again.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for coming on.
Love you guys.
Love you too, man.
All right, later.
Bye.
And that is a wrap for this episode of Cut the Crap with Beth and Matt. Did we help you cut through the bullshit? We want to know. Send us a DM on Instagram and share your thoughts. We'd love to hear them. And if you did find this one helpful, why not share this episode with a friend? I know I personally love it when a friend shares their favorite podcast with me, along with a text saying, "Oh my God, you have got to check out this podcast. You'll love it." And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so